Hi everyone, it's Rax. Today has been an extremely interesting day, so I got a pretty good video for you today. Um, there's so much news about all the different ARPGs, Last Epoch, Diablo 4, Path of Exile 2, No Rest for the Wicked, drama. Myself, Gazzy, DM, Zizarin, and Woody chatted about it for like 2 hours on stream. I guess that's enough hype. Let's just get into it. So let's start with No Rest for the Wicked. I'll save the drama for the end. Maybe we can timestamp this. You can go to the drama if you want. No Rest for the Wicked. Do you guys know what that game is, or do you remember that game? It's a Souls-like ARPG. Well, they had an announcement today, and you can see over here in this column, they updated literally everything about the game. I mean, like actually everything. The game is now going to be twice as big, and it's already a decent game. They redid the campaign with new zones, new side quests. They have new weapons. After you beat the already twice as big campaign, they have a new end game system where like blight or pestilence or something spreads around the world. You have to cleanse it. It spawns bosses. There's end game crafting. There's tons of quality of life. They gave you way more stash space. They completely redid how loot is happening. And this is launching on April 30th. I really like this game. I like this game so much. Like a lot of streamers will say, oh, I really like No Rest for the Wicked. Well, you want to know a little fact about me? I beat it twice, full game clear twice. So I actually really do like this game, and I'm going to be playing it for sure. April 30th. Now, let's go to Diablo 4. Diablo 4 released the first day of their PTR, and usually I make a separate video for it, but I can summarize my findings pretty quickly here. So the new stuff is here. The Uber boss, Belial, is not in the, from what I'm hearing, it's actually not even in the PTR. So we can't test that. The bosses got reworked, and I didn't get to test this, but Woody did, and Woody said that progressing through like the torments and the bosses are actually significantly harder, as Blizzard said that they would be. So progressing through is going to be tougher, so that takes care of these things. There's new uniques and boss powers. I purposely didn't test the boss powers, even though I unlocked them. And the reason why I didn't is because I want to save it for the launch. I want to have fun. If I try them all now, then that's going to, I'm not trying to be negative at all, but usually in Diablo 4, the content gets consumed very quickly. If I play with the boss powers now, then what am I going to do later on? So I purposely didn't use them. But I did test the leveling, and I leveled, you can see the timer, 3 hours and 19 minutes. I had some crashes at the end. I was only level 58 and a half. But I had so many crashes and bugs that I think on the actual launch, you're going to do it in about 3 hours. They said they wanted to make the leveling about twice as long. That was absolutely not what happened. You're going to go 1 to 60 in 3 hours unless they change something. And I believe that this comes out the 29th. So the 29th and then the 30th for this is not exactly favorable. But, well, more on that in a second. So then we got POE2 news, and here's where kind of the drama sets in. Well, we already know POE2 is going to get a lot of stuff. They're going to get at least one new class. I think they said it was like the Huntress or the Amazon or something with the javelins. Look really cool. They're going to update the end game and the gems and the passive tree and the end game passive tree and the towers. Are we going to get a new act? We're not sure. They updated weapon swap and weapons and uniques. That's what we know about so far. I think they're doing a conversation about everything at the end of March. So that's happening. But the controversy comes from it's launching April 4th. And the weird thing about that is Last Epoch has announced in February that their big, huge update, if you don't remember, class rework, crafting, a new faction, dungeon rework, new sets, and the set rework about salvaging set bonuses and putting on your items. New bosses, champions, 30 new uniques, I think they said. WASD is now in the game, idle crafting in the end game. It launches April 2nd. So essentially right next to POE2. April 2nd, then April 4th, right next to each other. And then these two are right next to each other. I would really doubt that these dates, I would doubt that these two companies maybe pay attention to each other's dates at all. But over here, Tencent owns 100% of Grinding Gear games. And I think they own, I don't know, 25% of Last Epoch. And according to Zizrin, they're actually aware of this. And they're launching essentially on the same day. So, 2 days apart. So, we had a big discussion about it, and we seem to have a general conclusion here that this setup really hurts Last Epoch mostly. So the people that absolutely blast PoE, and that's like their only game, they're completely unaffected by this. They don't care. They just want the PoE content to be out as soon as it's ready. So it comes out on the 4th. But I think Last Epoch is this going to hurt here. I think it's PoE being the bigger game currently. I think them going 2 days later is going to really cannibalize them. And then there's all these conspiracy theories about, oh, Tencent did this on purpose so Last Epoch would suffer, and then they could buy out the last 75% of EHG cheaper. That was a conspiracy theory that Gazzy shared. Not the craziest idea I've ever heard. But it really hurts EHG with Last Epoch, and really fans of both of the games. The general sentiment that I was hearing from people was they'll play Last Epoch for 2 days, and when PoE content comes out, it's PoE time, and Last Epoch can just go away for all they care. My personal opinion is I like Last Epoch. I think the game is fun. I think the game is better than most people give it credit for. And I would personally like to play Last Epoch for more than 2 days. So my current plan, I might change it, but my current plan would be to play Last Epoch the 2nd and the 3rd, play PoE2 on the 4th, and then play half and half Last Epoch and PoE2 for the next few days until I'm guessing I get bored of Last Epoch first, but we'll see how it goes. That would be my current plan. But then the next thought here is, can either of them change their dates? Well, I think PoE2 definitely knew Last Epoch's date ahead of time. So if they wanted to change their date, they wouldn't have picked the 4th. So I think PoE2 is set in stone that they're going on the 4th. So then it's up to Last Epoch. What do they want to do? One thing that's very difficult to move around, or at least to set up administratively, is Twitch drops. So I think that they've already nailed that down with Twitch to have the Twitch drops start on April 2nd. I don't know, maybe they could move that, but that might add like a difficulty here. And maybe Last Epoch just doesn't want to deal with it. Maybe they say, we're not moving again. I know that they've moved their dates for other games in the past, and maybe they're getting sick of being pushed around. I'm really not sure. But especially since they're both owned by Tencent, I would personally, as an ARPG enjoyer, and honestly, we could say it over here about D4 and No Rest for the Wicked, can we declare some kind of ceasefire here? Like when we know another game is about to come at a certain time, can we not schedule it, like, I don't know, within 2 days of each other, or within the same day? Honestly, if you go later, even a week later, or 2 days, or 2 weeks later, you let people get it out of their systems, right? The people that like Last Epoch and PoE2, if you give them 2 weeks, they can get Last Epoch out of their systems. I think you'll have even more people playing PoE2. Then people say, well, PoE2 is way bigger. They don't give a shit about Last Epoch. I mean, maybe, and that's I guess a reasonable take, but also they're owned by the same company, and I mean, wouldn't you just like to have more players? I mean, I think you get more if everyone gets Last Epoch out of their systems. I think in almost all cases you get more players. Okay, so I think you could argue it the other way as well. Yeah. So that's kind of the interesting thing that's going on. Strange move. I like both games. I want to. I'll play all 4 of them, especially the No Rest for the Wicked thing. That update sounded pretty sick, actually. But I don't know. This would be definitely a topic where I would be very interested to hear what you guys think and see what comments people upvote and don't. But this is not the first time that this has happened. And I don't know. Is this happening on purpose? Is it just a magical coincidence that it's 2 days apart? I think in this case, it actually might be a coincidence. I mean, I think Diablo 4 had their date first, and No Rest for the Wicked picked the day after. That's questionable, questionable date choice there. If that's the order of operations on how that happened. But in general, as an ARPG enjoyer and enjoy POE1 as well, I would love it if these gaming companies would stop releasing games at least in the same week. At least give me 7 days to blast them. And then I think a lot of people, and I think in some cases the companies would benefit as well. But I'm interested what you guys think. Do you think this is planned? Do you think this is some kind of predatory move? Do you think PoE2 is cannibalizing Last Epoch? Do you think Last Epoch should move their date? Should they move it earlier? Should they move it forward? Very interesting topics here. Anyway, that's what happened today, guys. One last thing I want to say. I think in the last month, I have made less YouTube videos than I ever have in my 5 years of content creation. It's for no particular reason. It's only that there just hasn't been much going on. I did kill 7 of 7 pinnacle bosses in PoE1, and I had never fought them before. I was going to make a video showing me fighting them, but then I look back historically, and people don't, in general, people don't give a crap about videos about players' achievements. People like guides or opinion pieces like this, much better than, oh, hey, I killed all 7 of the pinnacle bosses, so that's why I didn't even make the video. But rest assured, with Last Epoch coming up and PoE2 coming up very soon, I'm still going to make a shitload of guides for you guys and a ton of content. I'll make some content probably on D4. Again, not to diss D4. I just actually don't even know what to say. I don't really want to make a guide on how I can't fight the boss anyway. I don't really want to make a guide on Uber Belial because that's like the main thing for you to do. If I make a guide on the only thing to do, I guess maybe if you're looking up a guide, you just want the answer, and that's fine. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to spoil it for you guys. I could even make some content on No Rest for the Wicked. If you don't know this game, you should check it out. It's getting a massive, massive update at the end of April. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I just want to say, rest assured, a million more videos are coming. Nothing about me has changed. Nothing about the channel has changed. We're going to be blasting a lot of guides for many more years to come. Thank you.